Time for our weekly conversation with pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor, co-host of the Pivot podcast as well. You can tell by his hat and his shirt. It's great to see you, Fred, always.
Hey man, it's always good to see you too, JP, man. Been running around the world, man. Still football, football, but everything else is life. So I just needed to take a break, much like this team needed to take a break. So hopefully it serves all of us well.
Oh, and by the way, congrats on the semifinalist, Pro Football Hall of Fame again, getting
I
to that
appreciate
level,
it.
and we got to get you to that next level again, and then get you to the final level. The final boss still is needs to be beaten at some point.
Yeah, the final boss is still in play. I can't control the preliminaries, but once I get there, man, it'll be all she wrote. So I'll be ready. Just know I'm ready. When that time comes, I'm sure uh, it'll be memorable for everyone involved. So thankful, grateful to have made semifinalists again this year. Sit back and kind of wait and see what happens on the next step. Then you go from there. So it's one step at a time.
I'm ready for the party in Canton. Whenever it goes down, I just want to be there because I know it's going to be an all-timer, Fred. We'll get to that later, of course.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
down the
yeah, yeah,
line.
for sure.
Let's get to this Jaguars team coming off the bye week. They're 2-9. They're not mathematically eliminated. So there's some kind of shred of something. But the last time we saw them play football, Fred, it was the worst loss in Jaguars history. So how do you regroup on a bye week with all that going on?
Uh, you hope that everyone still has a sense of urgency. You hope that they're all been accountable and have not thrown in the towel. To a man, to each other as teammates and staff, etc. You want to make sure that there's still a sense of urgency, man. Guys have rehab, guys are nursing injuries, guys are trying to get out there and play. They're playing for, contracts or whatever it might be. You want to make sure that everybody's still on the same page because the last time we saw them, it seemed that no one even read the book. Nevertheless, being on the same page. So here's a chance to have a fresh reset. They realize that they have six more in front of them with an opportunity to try and go 8-9 and see how the chips fall. But it starts with, a divisional opponent in Houston, a team that they played well the first time out. As I think I recall, it had a few overthrows that game. And even late, they had an opportunity late to sort of put it away. Didn't go into the 4-minute offense, didn't do well. Texans got the ball, went down, scored, put the game away. But very competitive matchup, still a very competitive group. So they have to make sure they remember who they are. No one, we can't remind them. They have to know who they are.
Fred Taylor with us. Yeah, in that game, Nico Collins went off with big numbers. They didn't have Joe Mixon that day. They've got Joe Mixon now, and the Jaguars defense has struggled in most areas. Let's be honest. They're last in total defense. They're near the
Mm-hmm.
bottom in every other metric. But if they can't stop the run, and it sets up everything else, and they haven't been able to consistently do that this year. So how do you slow down Joe Mixon? I've asked you this with all these different running backs this year,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
haven't really been able to do it lately.
Yeah, no, Joe. Joe he's a beast. He's a big boy, man. That 28. A lot of people will text me and say he is a spitting image of you, Freddie T. And I heard this from way back in the day. One of our scouts in the building, Cub Driggers. Cubby would tell me like that kid in Cincy reminds me of you. But now he's with the Texans and big, strong, fast, can run with power, shifty. He can do it all. And he's going to take some pressure off of CJ, who hasn't had the best season or hasn't had a season as he had a year ago. So they want to give him the ball. He's averaging 4.2 a while, even in the time that he's been out. How do you stop him? Yeah, you just want to slow him down. You hit him early. It's doable. They don't have the greatest offensive line, so it's doable. They have to just maintain their defensive integrity, gap spacing, and as long as they're doing that, and the hardest thing in football, in my opinion, not playing quarterback, tackling is the hardest thing in football. They got to tackle. If they tackle, play gap integrity, they should be fine. And you mentioned they didn't have Joe Mixon the first game. They don't have Stefan Diggs this game.
Right.
So it's kind of like, for me, it's almost a, pick your poison. It's a wash, but you do have to stop the run first and find a way to sort of put a little pressure on Stroud. You can walk away with a win.
Fred Taylor with us. Now, on the other side, there's question marks this week around the quarterback position. Trevor Lawrence practiced on Monday. We'll see how the rest of the week is gone. But, and then if he doesn't go, then Mac Jones is going. We've seen how that's gone the last couple of weeks. On offense, Doug Peterson talked this week. He didn't give a lot in his Monday press conference about the changes they've made, but he mentioned the words rhythm and tempo. So to me, that's a red light. Okay, they might speed it up a little bit on offense. What does that even mean? How do you speed up an offense in week 13, 12, whatever week
I
we're in?
mean, you come out there and you try your best to get some rhythm. I guess drive starters. You want to come out first down. You want to be efficient. Short yards, quick passes, just to get some rhythm, get some flow, and not so much take shots. But I've always thought that's what they were attempting to do. Maybe they're going to play without a huddle. And that way they can put a little pressure on the opposing defense just to hurry and get their play calls in. And sometimes you can manipulate the defenses simply by not being in a huddle, because a lot of times their go-to signal is their safe defense. Most teams' safe defense is some form of cover two. And if you can get them in two and run the ball and get 5-6 a whop and stay in that sort of mindset, then you're playing at a faster tempo, at a better rhythm. So hopefully he's speaking to that a little bit. But again, I don't know. Uh, I don't know what's at stake. I mean, I know what's at stake, but I don't know, what's on the plate for them. But I'm interested to see exactly what he meant.
All right, Fred, we've got 6 games to go, and they're not mathematically eliminated. So there is a chance, if they run the table and other teams above them do not, that they're kind of in this thing, but they're not in it right now. So
Right.
is that realistic? At what point do you stop buying that in the locker room?
Well, I hopefully they don't stop buying it.
Right, exactly.
They have to take it one game at a time. And, the guys that were on the team a couple years ago, when they made that run, they know what it feels like. And, here, it also, the guys that were on the team a year ago know what it feels like, when you're going the other way, which is what they're doing now. So just win one. That'll create a little spark, and hopefully that spark turns into a flame as they continue to go throughout the season. So you got to win one, and it starts with a 7-5 Houston Texans team. And, you just got to go out there and put it together. Get after CJ from a defensive standpoint. Stop Joe Mixon, as we mentioned. Offensively, just do something. Do something. I mean, I don't care what it is. Do something. Protect the football, but do something. Get the ball to number 7. He has to have some touches. I can say that much.
Yeah, that would be a good strategy. I know you're a tremendous athlete, a machine of sorts, even still so long retired from the game, Fred. But this is a great cheat week. Thanksgiving. What is your go-to Thanksgiving food and favorite, and how much will you eat?
You know what? I try to balance it out, JP. I requested this week just a Cornish hen, where I like to. I've started frying the little Cornish hen. That little thing, it's pretty good. So I'm not a huge, a big turkey guy. Turkey, the tryptophan and all of that, it just makes me tired and sleep, and it messes up the football games on Thanksgiving. So I prefer a Cornish hen all to myself, a little stuffing, some cranberry dressing on the side. What else? Mac and cheese. Got to have my mac and cheese. That's it for me. I mean, well, it's collard greens. I got to have some veggies somewhere. So that's it.
I tell you what, that's the British trips must be wearing off on you with a Cornish hen answer. I must say.
I'm breaking the American tradition. I
Right.
mean, I'm like, where all these turkeys come from anyway? I'm like, where we get all these turkeys from to feed the whole entire country on Thanksgiving. I don't know. I'm crazy sometimes, JP, but I like the Cornish hen.
It
You know,
sounds
the
great.
flavor, you do it right, it can come out pretty good. Sometimes we bake it, sometimes we fry it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
Gotta
happy,
have my protein.
gotta have it. You gotta have it for gains for sure. Fred, have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the family, man.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
my brother. I'll see you.